Hello everyone, I'm Betty and welcome back to my channel. Hope you're all doing well and happy September. If this is the first time you're joining us, I am a conscious channel and teacher of higher consciousness. Each month I channel messages and transmit light language activation codes, helping you to elevate your consciousness. So first, just a bit of news. I'm so excited that September 8th is our official launch of the Community of Masters. I was directed to create this monthly online forum for light-minded individuals who wish to establish connections with the divine and also within the community, and to ignite their untapped potentials and gifts, and also to accelerate our manifestations. Within this sacred space, the Ascended Masters and I will hold a question and answer segment, so you get to ask questions, whether it's metaphysical, globally, personally, whatever you choose. And you'll be able to receive messages that you wouldn't normally get from your friends or family or Google. So always a good time with that. It's always interesting. They will also be sharing various topics, cosmic teachings, and divine wisdom, and giving us divine wisdom also. In addition, you will receive light language codes, keys, and tablets that will be transmitted to expand and elevate your consciousness. And as a community, we will be amplifying our manifestations multidimensionally for the benefit of all. So we'll have a lot going on within this 2-hour forum. We always have a good time, and there's always a ton of interesting information that comes forth as we accelerate and elevate our consciousness. So if you'd like to join us on this journey, and I hope you do, all the details are on my website, and it is listed in the description box below, and we'd love to see you all there. Okay. So as a collective, they wanted to speak about patterns today. Our recent passageway wrapped up some major upgrades between the summer solstice and the Lion's Gate. And for me personally, I don't know about you, but the summer passageway has always felt the most potent for me, maybe because it has that Leo and that lion energy that comes through so passionately. But it was really major upgrades that we received. And with that, each time we get these upgrades, you will notice patterns start to pop up. And they can appear as physical symptoms, amongst other things. But that's what they kind of wanted to talk about today. And most notable, this passageway had a couple of symptoms that came to the surface. One was bladder infections, and the other was symptoms of having a heart attack or a panic attack, as well as fatigue and exhaustion were also prominent. And they reminded me also COVID cases spiked again, especially on both coasts, because we have gotten comfortable again, and that's not where they want us to be. It is a time of awakening. And so if you're not paying attention, then symptoms and things as like COVID will rise again, to make sure we are paying attention to what we need to. So from a higher perspective, this is part of our purification process and recalibration as we receive new light codes and frequencies. They're just clearing out anything that is not a vibrational match for us, both individual and globally. So as we can see all the disruptions and distortions going around the world, that's for us to make sure we're paying attention so we don't have to keep repeating the same patterns. So therefore, anything that is out of balance and not a match comes to the surface to be dissolved and let go of, if you're willing. There's a lot of resistance out there. So take, for instance, the bladder infection. That represents emotions. The bladder is a vessel, an organ that holds wastewater to be released. And emotions show up as feelings of frustrations, okay? Being pissed off, angry, or irritation all have to do with the bladder. If you are a person who has difficulty expressing your emotions or shuts yourself down, that pressure builds up internally, causing tension, which then causes you to burn intentionally about a current person or situation. And they're kind of correcting me too. It doesn't have to be current. This could be something that you've held on for quite some time. But this results in the physical manifestation of a bladder infection. So when you choose to hold back and remain silent, which is especially happens with women, because we were taught to be quiet. That's an ancestral, lineage that got passed forward, but we were taught to be quiet and just to be demure and not to speak out. So when we remain silent, you block that flow of energy, and this accumulated stress can lead to inflammation in the bladder until it is released. So that's a biggie, so yes, thank you. So it's especially when you hold on to outdated ideas, and maybe especially, thank you, especially for older people. They were brought up in a very particular way, and it is very difficult for them to take on anything new because it is not familiar with them. It is not in their comfort zone. So it is their form of resistance to, it's like, no, that's not the way. That's not how I learned it to be. Which is also very interesting because it is a time of bringing the truth that's been covered up, not only with individuals, but again, the globe. Things that are being revealed at this time so we can change them. But this resistance represents insecurity over something that's occurring in that person's life. So you might be in the midst of huge change and feeling overwhelmed in life, and not realizing that once you acknowledge how you feel and express these emotions, then that blockage, the energy begins to flow freely again. So it's something that they want you to pay attention to, especially if you've experienced that the last month or two. And when it comes to feeling heart palpitations or panic attack or symptoms of a heart attack, that represents a feeling of not being loved, or that you fear losing something that's dear to you, or that you may have already experienced a great loss in your life. And then in turn, that creates anxiety, worry, and even fear of death itself. You may be worried about, what's going to happen when I pass. Will I turn to nothing, or will I be eternal and keep living on? And I can tell you without a doubt, this is just just a stop on the along the way. We continue on, so that's something you don't have to fear. But with these feelings end up being locked down into your heart, and because you're unconsciously protecting yourself from being hurt. And we've all been there. We've all been hurt, and that is natural to want to protect ourselves from having that happen again. But at the same time, you're denying life, because this is they're showing me was it the Lion King, the circle of life, when he holds the lion cub up. Yeah, so you're denying life when you shut yourself down. I know when working with clients, I am often shown their heart as a locked safe, and that symbolically tells me that that individual has chosen to close themselves off for one reason or another, and it almost has to be chipped away little by little to open the heart back up again, to feel and to receive love and to be able to give love to others. But again, it's just that they don't want to be hurt again, and so they lock themselves down, and nobody can get to me, because now I know I'm safe. I'm safe, and it's locked. It is a form of self-denial, because they refuse to look at their life truthfully, for what it really is. And again, I've been there. I've been hurt, and it's often scarier than what it really is when you start to look at it. But we fear it, so to look at it, we keep pushing it away. But once you do, you're going, well, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, and it actually left me in a state of peace afterwards. And it's like, okay, I didn't need to hang on to that for any reason. Now, on the other hand, if you are spiritually expanding, you will experience these symptoms as part of your heart recalibrating. It's retuning or attuning to a higher vibration. And this is part of that crystalline restructuring that we're going through. And we are also experiencing respiratory, the nervous system, and the spine being restructured. So, and this is in order for us to hold more light. And if you've noticed or been listening to me speak about this, this is a constant upgrade. So they're giving it to us little by little, so we can gradually increase more and more light within our bodies. And again, this varies with everybody. Some people are already there, and some people are just beginning. So it's different for everybody. But our operating systems are changing, so therefore you can have these experiences. Sometimes it almost feels like, I don't know how to explain it. It's an opening, but it's like being cracked open in a sense, where you really feel like you're having a heart attack, but then it passes, and you realize, oh, okay, I'm okay. This was just a shift that I was going through. So when you level up in your geometries, you pass from one set of geometries to another. If you're on that path and you're doing the work, it can feel very significant. And I know being cracked open doesn't sound great, and it doesn't feel good either. But the sensations pass, and they do range anywhere from, it can be just in a day, or it can be up to a week, and feels very much like a heart attack or a panic attack. And everyone is different, and everyone will experience it different. Some people, it's better to almost gradually go through this than have some people have a bang and they're just full on at that point with the opening of the heart, and that is not an easy, if that's what you signed up for, that's not an easy feeling. And anybody who's had that experience knows they would probably not choose that again. So it's almost better to gradually do the work yourself and have that open on your own. We also have tucked away in our hearts traumas that we've carried forward within our DNA and our cellular memory. And the most common are ancestral lineages, parasitic entities, and past life incarnations. And they show up as unresolved traumas that surface in order to be healed. Again, you may have a day where you're just, emotionally a wreck, crying, and there might not be anything in particular going on in your life. And when that occurs, then you're releasing something too that you're not consciously aware of in this life, but it has come forward from your past life and the lineage. And again, that's coming forward for you to recognize it, that this distortion can be released. And really all you need to do is to be observant with your feelings. And even if you're not sure where it's coming from, most of the time but if you're not sure, all you need to do is be present, acknowledge what you feel, and feel it fully. Don't deny it or resist it. And then let it go and accept it for what it is without holding any attachment to it, because a lot of times we can beat ourselves up, like, why am I going through this? I don't understand this. What's wrong with me? And that, just stop beating yourself up, because we've come here to release all of this. That is part of our journey, so we don't have to repeat it anymore. As the planet changes, that's off the table, not even in our wheelhouse anymore. The karmic has been let go of, and the veils have dropped, the magnetics have changed. So this is not a part of who we are or what we're going to become in the very near future. So when any of these physical symptoms reveal themselves, always get checked by a doctor. Don't, if you feel something's wrong, please go get it checked out by a doctor first. And so many times I hear this, they can't find anything wrong with me. And that's when you can recognize, all right, if they can't find something wrong, then it's time for me to look internally to get to the root of my issue. And remember that you can clear this, that you can do this, you can let this go. And of course, if you need help, for those who do this, seek the help. But also remember persistent symptoms, like if you keep repeating something, a cycle or a symptom, know that they show up in layers. So you're clearing a layer at a time. So you can also look at it as like, oh, I'm going through this again. Well, I'm being upgraded. I'm being recalibrated. There's something I need to let go of and look at. So let me revisit that. So you will absolutely have to peel back layer by layer. Some have more than others. It depends on what you walked in with and what you chose to do. So the more observant you are with your emotions, the more adept that you will be with discerning and releasing what needs to be let go of. You can actually get to the point where as soon as you feel the distortion, you go, oh, okay, I know what I need to do. And it's gone, okay? But when you're new at it, it is a process of understanding and the continued recognizing of what's going on that helps you lift all these distortions off of you. Okay. So continuing with the theme of patterns, the Earth, Gaia, has also been going through her share of releasing too. I'm sure you've all been aware of the increase of in flooding, in earthquakes, and volcanoes that we've been experiencing. And this is Gaia's way of freeing herself from all the damage that was done by humanity and other cultures and other races, I should say, and the distorted energies that she has absorbed over time. So she too has changed her geometries, and in order for us, so we can sync vibrationally into this new earth. But she has to shift as well as we have to shift in order to walk into that next octave, that next set of dimensions that are already here. It's just a matter of realizing it and then walking into it and knowing that it's already done. And they're saying not paying attention to the external world of what's going on, because that's just going to do what it's going to do. Her magnetic field is changing, and that affects the crust and the plate systems. So while she's releasing, there will be land and water movement across the globe. So no matter where you are, they're asking you just to stay in awareness and be prepared. And just as you would prepare for a fire, know your exits, have cash on hand, and keep essential belongings handy and ready to go. Know where your exit is. Know that if something should occur, that you have a plan in place and you know what to do. And they're saying, shift your eyes to the landscapes of the planet instead of the external dramas around you. Shift your eyes to the landscapes of the planet instead of the external dramas around you. The advice is to always keep yourself in the highest vibrations as we navigate these next few years. All that is happening is meant to unify us. So we let go of any false beliefs and enslavement that has, basically followed us throughout humanity. So we can achieve sustainability, community, and abundance, and live in the vibration of peace, where we no longer experience the wars, the hatred, the judgment, and you could go on and on with all the different distortions. So we walk into this. So they're asking you again just to stay in the highest vibration and not pay attention to the external issues that are going on, because this is going to be a huge thing that's happening too. As the truth comes out, freedom unfolds for us. So we are no longer tied to those that that use us for their benefit. Okay, and it's a time where that old energy is leaving. And I don't know about you, that old energy to me just feels exhausting. It just is just like, why? It's almost like if you've noted, if you're on social media, which I'm sure you all are, whether it's Instagram, or Facebook or YouTube, we're just inundated with commercials and ads and somebody selling you something. And I find this very exhausting. And I know that everybody's trying to make a living, so to speak, and, to advance themselves. But at the same time, it's going to come to a point where less is more. So I know myself, people often ask, well, why do you only do once a month YouTube? Because I find that the people who send me an email once a month or a video or what have you, I pay more attention than if I'm inundated by it on a daily basis. And they will tell you, right? Advertising will tell you, and marketing will say, well, you have to do it at least 21 days for people to remember you. And it's like, but if the content has value, they will remember it. But if it's this constant barrage of I've got this thing that will take care of you, and you can look good, and you know the routine of what they do, I tend to block it out because I just don't want to hear it anymore, and I just keep pushing that delete button. So in the future, less will be more, and value will reign. What is the value that you're receiving from the person, the company, the individuals? Okay. And they're asking, with the release of this old energy, to start visioning what your future looks like. And that includes all of what we were talking about, without the distortions, with peace, with love, where there are communities that support each other, where we're getting back to nature, we're honoring the earth, and we're working with her instead of against her. And so envision, yes, they're saying sustainable, that you have sustainable communities in place, and everybody has value, and everybody has something to give. So they'd like to like you to think about this over the next month, actually a couple of months, because we will be having these big changes worldwide, governments, banks, and also the land movements, and just to go internal instead of external. Okay. All right. So one more thing. Our next passageway will also be a very interesting one and very active. September 17th, we have a partial lunar eclipse. The 22nd, we have the autumnal equinox. October 2nd is solar eclipse. And on October 17th is the lunar eclipse. So it's going to be another big passageway. So just try to dial it down, get out in nature, release what needs to be released, and just keep taking those deep breaths as we go through, and just know, and they're saying everything is well, everything is well, everything is going according to plan, and there's nothing to fear. You will be provided for, and you will be protected as you go through this. But our job is just to make sure that we're grounded, send the love out, and take care of ourselves and those around us. Okay. All right. So this month's light language activation codes are for the first eclipse and for the equinox. And you can come back and listen to this. Again, the areas that we mentioned before will be being worked on, but come back to them as often as you feel you need them. And if these messages resonate with you, I would love it if you would like, share, and subscribe. It's helping get these messages out there to people who really need to hear them. And I thank you so much. Okay, and so we're going to go into the light language. Dea huranea sayatea sunea piaku ara aye ananea kia suishtea Surya mianea kai anana arananya sabia tuyanea siatiania tuyana Deana de bia ura ane asai and yaramia ore ne aisha te urma aye e arania su ishtai e nyaturiana saibia ku ura unaya anda daya pura tapa anea ayahrania si de paria tu karene elia tusa mi fortini miatu Ara ane aku arama aasu da yimiare ni niesui bea atu yara tia susu yara ne yare pia shu timpia tuye nea aka asu ipia tuye nani aye pia tunayaka Nyayana piana tote yaro dia kosui ya fusupante arane aku yemenia Teoria nia karene eia suini dia tukuz ariekia ariakarane biatu sui pistania pia teoro te suinia te akaria turia tam sorian te pia te asu te akurama asu shen e itia turenade Roni bisikos and ya aaki pia turiani and ya akia su tiantea su maatia tiana ariatia su shatayana yahana nunayaka orientea su yeneni arena tu semi siri diaratia actirin yana su ishta aku oroma a asu itia torea su shantea urepa suria neakia Bea arenya gere tushen miaku ale a iaku arata asu inaya topia su ishta na uka asu atea ne ea arena nasui enia biatur suye tuya asa ne aria tuya nasu area tusha naribia ku Sa'ana atu arana. I also put some codes in for your release for Grace and Ease, and also activated freedom codes for each and every one of us. Okay, so hope you have a wonderful September, and we'll be checking back in October and see what that brings us. So wishing you much love and light and blessings for September. Okay, take care.